What's happening, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. This is Suburban Jack EDC. So today I got a short video for you, and what I have here is a group of budget knives put together from a pass-around group I belong to called BPEX. So the idea behind this video is to kind of share an assortment of budget knives, but there's a little bit of a theme to it. So what we do in pass-around group is we send knives to each other and other small random EDC items that we may not have had a chance to check out without buying or investing in ourselves to collect or just look at, or having to deal with selling them. So what we do is we just basically pay the shipping, send some stuff out. When it comes back, it comes back. So the idea behind this one is one of the guys decided to take 4 of his personal budget-minded knives, $50 or under, and the theme is take one, replace one. So what I'm going to do here is, which I've already lined up, the ones I like and the ones I don't. They are budget knives, $50 or under, so nothing spectacular, but you might find something cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from the least to the most as far as my favorite, and I'll make an ultimate decision on which one I'm going to take at the end of the video. So let's go ahead and get into it. Right off the bat, when I first got these out of the pouch, I took them all out, laid them out, and noticed I am familiar with every one of these knives. As a matter of fact, I have handled this one particularly. These are Chinese-made knives. Doesn't mean they're bad, doesn't mean they're junk, doesn't mean they're great necessarily. Depends on the person checking them out and what you're interested in. So we'll go ahead and start off with the CRKT, which is known as Cricket by some. This one here is definitely, as you can see, all these are modern folders. I am not a fan of CRKT knives. I think a lot of them are grossly overpriced for what you get. I'm not saying they're making bad knives. They do make some good functioning knives, and they have some really good designers that come along, collaborate, and come up with some good stuff. They have made a few over the years that has gotten my attention, like the home front. I liked the technology that they put in that to break it down, clean it in the field if you need to be. And you know, I've liked a couple of the M16s that they had, but in a nutshell, I'm not the biggest fan. So this one particularly, with the carbon fiber, the fake carbon fiber sticker under there, you know, it's got like a layered kind of concept on the handle. I mean, it doesn't look that bad. It's not my style. Seems like a good functioning blade. Locks up good, opens up good, no issues. But that's definitely a pass for me. So let's move on to the next one here, and this is one that I kind of heard of. I've seen around here and there, but I never really ever got a chance to handle one, and this is called Y-Start. You can find these. I did a quick little search for this company, and I found some at White Mountain Knives that most of you guys are familiar with. You can buy a lot of your budget style knives, but they do normally carry some cool stuff. This is not a bad little knife from what I've handled so far. So you notice immediately it's got some good texturing on the scales. You've got this bright orange lanyard hole in the back, deep carry clip, only on one side though, so it is only for right-handed people. You've got an interesting little pivot. That's definitely different. Liner lock, some texturing, some jimping in there. I always do appreciate that on a liner lock for sure. Got a nice little flipper. Flipper's just okay. There's really no texturing on that, but it gets the job done. You can get it out. And this is 14C28 in steel, which is a fantastic budget steel, as most of you know. You're seeing a lot of this more and more nowadays on the budget knives due to customer demands. Overall, a pretty good functioning knife. It's just not my style, not what I would use, especially aesthetically. It's just a little too much yuck for me. Going into the next two, these are Sativian. That's all I'm going to call them. These are commonly found on Amazon, I believe. I think you can even find these on Alibaba. But there's the name and the logo, so you can see that there. I'm probably saying it wrong. I'm just calling them Sativian. So this one here is definitely a full-size folder, liner lock. Looks like micarta handles, some type of linen micarta. It's not bad. Good thick liner, a little bit of texturing on the flipper, definitely like that. And for pocket clip, pretty much a deep carry clip there, nothing too fancy. Doable clip. Just not my style of a knife. I'm not really drawn to this type of blade. But this thing will get it done. It's the same 14C28N Sandvik steel, fantastic steel, like I said. That's pretty cool that they add that steel on these knives. I do think they have some in D2, and I think I've seen some on the internet for when they started out with like 440, 440C maybe, 440A. I'm not sure what they had on their line, but definitely a doable knife. Someone will probably pick that up out of the group, I would imagine. The next one, same brand, same company. This is the Model 301. I liked this one definitely more than this one, and the reason being is it's got inset liners. It's got a really nice thin slicey blade on it, kind of a tactical feel, I guess someone would say. They come with a little, kind of a cheap little piece of leather for the lanyard there, kind of hidden in the scales with a backspacer. Looks like they got a little bit of a cool little pivot color, kind of a neon green there. Micarta is what we got here. Not a bad knife, and you can see the inset liner there. And I believe these are on bearings. It does shut and act like it's on bearings. Whether they're ceramic or steel ball bearings, I'm not sure. You can get that little reverse flick, as you can see. Got that hole there. It's not the easiest. You got to kind of position it right in your hand, but I thought this was the better offering out of these two. These are cool. So initially starting with 4 from the guy that sent these to the last guy, he added 3. So now we got 6 to send out. Excellent. Be interesting to check the next person's video out. Moving on to the next one, I have actually had one of these. I passed this on to somebody in the group and kind of threw it in as a gift. And the one I had was exactly this model. However, it was a weird green yellow color, and I just didn't like the colors on it. Could have dyed it and did some other modifications to it, but I just wasn't ready to do that at the time, and I thought someone else could have some better use with it. So what you're looking at here is SRM, and that stands for Stay Ready for More. These guys have been around for a while. They made a handful of things other than knives. This particular knife that I know of was kind of designed for the outdoorsman in mind, for camping and hiking and whatnot. What they've done with this is made a really good compact knife with essentially a crossbar lock. I think you can find these under $30, maybe even less. They do have kind of a cheaper feel to them, but they are solid, I will say. And this was actually the first knife that I ever had that had the disc shape for the deployment method on it, and I've never really been into those disc shapes. Not that I've really handled too many, I just never really was drawn to any knives with them. You'll see these a lot on Emerson knives, if you ever come across some of those with the wave technology, you know, where they have the piece of steel sticking out. Essentially the idea is to catch it off your pant pocket, so when you pull it out, it deploys your knife for safety and security type deal. But they've added the thumb stud to this. I actually like it, and I love the blade shape on this. I love the drop point and the belly that they have. So many things done. You could feather stick. I mean, it's got a spine sharp enough you can strike a ferro rod if necessary. It's lightweight. It's just it's a good little package, and the pocket clip's kind of nice too, because there's no screws to get hung up on, as you can see there. It's kind of back behind the scale, so you pretty much have to take the knife apart to get the clip off. But regardless, it's a really good compact little knife, and I almost chose this one. I was down to these 3, but since I've already had this and I kind of passed it on, I really don't need it. I have enough budget knives in my collection, so I wanted to pick the most unique one that I was going to get the most value out of for myself. This was pretty damn close to picking up. So if you guys do see these online and you're spend time outside and you want something compact that's super light, it's kind of similar to, you know, it's a lightweight like a bug out, and it has a decent action, has the crossbar style lock, which is proven to be one of the toughest locks out there. We all know that. Yes, the cold steel triad lock and the shark lock, we know, blah blah blah, but this still works just as good as any other crossbar lock from what I've handled so far. So definitely check those out if you get a chance. Worth looking at, especially for the price. Last but not least, I was actually shocked that I was walking away with a CRKT. Yeah, I can't believe it myself, but this thing has got a cool blade shape on it. It's a reverse Tonto, Warncliffe style. I'm always a sucker for these style blades, especially with the thickness on the spine, and it's got a hollow grind. So this is a really cool, compact little knife. It's almost not as thin and slim, but almost like the CEO. And I was never really a fan of that knife, but this particular one out of all these, I think is pretty cool. And I've also found out these are actually, this model particularly is discontinued, so you cannot find this knife anywhere. Maybe if you're lucky on eBay or something, but another great thing is it's only 25 bucks. You can find one just like this, but it's assisted, and it's actually more than 25 bucks. I think it's like 35. And assisted knives are not necessarily my thing. However, I do own a few, and we'll talk about that at another time in a different video.
What you talking about, Willis?
But this is a cool little knife. You've got some good texturing going on. I think that's a plastic, some type of polymer plastic. I don't think it's G10. I could be wrong, but you've got recessed screws, actually, deep carry clip, liner lock, of course. And the only really downside to this is it's 8CR13 MOV steel, which CRKT is notoriously known for, that and the 1.466 German type steel, which is like a tool steel commonly known and used in a lot of tools we have out there. But this is pretty cool. This was a collaboration with Ruger, as you can notice the logo there. Pretty cool design, pretty neat. And then this is called the LCK, the Lurch design. Not too familiar with the designer, but I do like this knife, and this is the one I went with. Another reason I kind of was blown away with this knife is it's actually on bronze washers and possibly some Teflon under there. Probably why it doesn't necessarily drop shut. Maybe the blade weight and the differential, I don't really know, but it does close and open smoothly, and it's got a really decent detent, so this does get it done. So you've seen my pick, the one I chose out of the package here. So going with the Ruger / CRKT LCK, that's what I'm taking with me. And what I'm going to leave is actually a pretty good offering in my opinion, and it's a Kershaw Mini Natrix. And it is a subframe lock, G10, 8CR13 MOV, which why you see so commonly, especially on the older models. We've bumped up steels on a lot of the budget knife world a lot better nowadays, but this is what you used to see commonly on the budget knives, and that's 8CR13 MOV, roughly the equivalent to AUS 8 or 440. So nice little knife, great little EDC knife, Warncliffe style blade, sheep's foot kind of modified blade. This actually is a budget version from the parent company ZT, the 770, and this is the Mini Natrix. So there's actually a size bigger than this, which is the Natrix full size. This is the Mini, and this is a cool little knife. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's got a great clip, great pocket friendly knife. It's just I found it to be a little too small for my hands, and not that I don't like smaller compact knives, I just particularly find my fingers getting in the way on the frame lock there. But I've worked around it and figured it out. It's just I figured it's in really good shape, so I figured I'd add it to the package, send it to somebody else who's possibly never handled or experienced a Kershaw or the Natrix. So there we go. That's going to do it for this video, guys. I appreciate you checking me out. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video here real soon. Bye bye.